It is game day, and we are live in the pregame. It's the Oklahoma Auburn pregame show here at the War Report. Joining me today is Caesar Walker and Logan Fowler, senior writer at thewarreport.com. Fellas, SEC play has arrived, and it is time for these teams to show what they've got. Now, both of these teams have had a Power Four non-conference opponent already. We saw Oklahoma versus Michigan and Auburn versus Baylor in game one, but this is widely believed to be the first real test both of these teams are going to get. Talk to me, man. How are you guys feeling? I went back and forth about this when I predicted 21-17 Oklahoma earlier in the week, and then I flipped and my homer got the best of me. And so 24-21 Auburn is the way I'm seeing this one. What do you guys feel about this one 30 minutes prior to kick?
Nervous is how I feel. I think for all the good Auburn has done up to this point, it doesn't even matter because the season starts today.
It does.
And Auburn has a chance to change the narrative. I think outside of Auburn, outside the loveliest village, very few people, maybe with the exception of Desmond Howard, believes that Auburn can actually win this game. Auburn has the chance to change the narrative with how they play. It's against a top 15 opponent. Team that beat them last year that probably shouldn't have. Auburn gets a chance to really play and rally around their quarterback who's having a homecoming of sorts. It's my PTSD from the past 5 years of Auburn failing these tests that has me nervous about this team. I don't really have a reason to be nervous about this team because they really haven't shown me anything to be really nervous about. They're not perfect. So I expect good things from them, but I'm just nervous to see what kind of team we're going to have in about 3 hours.
Logan, man, talk to me. How are you feeling prior to kick here? You've written about this 6 ways, sideways to Sunday. Has anything changed in your feeling about this game?
Yeah, look, I think I've covered just about every angle of this game possible. Look, I think Caesar hit the nail on the head with that one. Look, Auburn for the past 5 years has given you ample reason as to why they can't go in and win this game, right?
Yeah.
But I am of the opinion that, look, these first 3 games, though 2 of them came against, inferior opponents, I believe that this Auburn team looks different. The vibe around this team is different. I did ultimately pick Oklahoma in this one solely because I have not seen Auburn in the last 4 or 5 years walk into – Auburn hasn't won a ranked road game since 2019, guys. So, I mean, stats like that kind of eased me into picking Oklahoma, but that's not to say that I don't think that Auburn can win this game. I do think they can. I think that, obviously all eyes are going to be on Jackson Arnold. I think he's well suited to handle the pressure. I think he's got the weapons around him to handle the pressure that Brent Venables is going to throw at him. I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting game to see. I'm interested to see if Auburn's pass defense can step up in this one. And one big thing that I tweeted about this morning, look, Auburn fans probably already have nightmares of Michael Trigg from Baylor, right? He went off on Auburn in week 1. Jaron Kennick for Oklahoma leads all tight ends in the country with 245 yards receiving. He's had at least 4 catches in every game. I don't like that matchup. I think Auburn's going to have to find a way to slow down Mateer in that passing game. But again, look, I think Auburn's got the tools to do it, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Look, we're going to jump into the comments here. Great stuff. I do want to note, Oklahoma, I saw a stat this morning, blitzes on 49% of their defensive play calls. 49%. Wow. So it's going to be an interesting day for Jackson Arnold. Can he handle the pressure? Well, we're going to get to the comments and see if he can. Chris Lester joined as a member. We love to see this always. Please keep on joining. Deuce with the super chat. All I've heard is we don't have a chance. It's the Auburn way. Really only saw Dez pick us and the Bear on Fox. Go get it, Tigers, Wardam Eagle. Not a lot of love. Did you guys watch game day pregame? I didn't see the picks.
No, I just saw on Twitter.
Was it really only Dez? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Saban didn't pick Auburn. Wow. Another super chat here from Dwayne. He says, it's our time. I have PTSD, but I believe. Yes.
Sound like an Auburn fan, Dad.
No, man, look, so much PTSD. And I'm dealing with two fan bases suffering from PTSD right now, so this is a special topic for me. Hot Rock Collective says both teams have the necessary talent. Who wins will boil down to the individual discipline, who protects the ball, and commits the fewest penalties. So on the road, I think this is especially true for Auburn. Protect the ball, be disciplined, no dumb penalties, man. It's going to be raucous, and the Oklahoma fans are going to try to make it tough on Jackson Arnold. If you're Hugh Freeze, your play calling has to keep Jackson get him settled into the game quickly. I thought I saw Dylan, but I will come back to him in a second. TK 28-17 Stormtroopers. I'm assuming that's Auburn with the all-white unis today. Aaron Finney says, big win today, 24-21 Auburn, baby. He's feeling how I'm feeling right now, guys. I don't get the people calling for Oklahoma to score like 38 and Auburn 7. I don't understand those score predictions, but that's just me. Bird and Beham says, going to have to play a great game for us to win. Could not agree with that more. Ernest Vaughn says, Deuce to Jackson Arnold. They want to show you love, but back then it was, damn it, Jackson Arnold. Let's go skull drag these boys. All right. That's a feeling. Is that something Deuce actually said to Jackson Arnold? Like, let me know in the comments, Ernst, if I missed something on social media. Getting back to the conversation here, guys, send your super chats, send your chats in. We're going to be on until just about game time here. The offensive line. A lot of folks felt like we did not talk about the Auburn offensive line enough this week. And they're going to have to get some push in the run game, obviously, but they need to protect Jackson Arnold, create the kind of running lanes that he had versus Baylor, and allow him to be able to sit back, go through his progressions, and find a receiver. I think Auburn's going to have to push the ball downfield. You need time to do that. What do you guys think about this Auburn offensive line handling the Oklahoma blitz?
To me, that's one of the keys of this game for me is what Auburn's O-line is able to do. Brent Venables is going to finally present Auburn with a look that they've been waiting to see all season long, and that's a defensive alignment that is geared to stopping the run. If Auburn is able to run the football, then the RPO goes crazy. And if you're Brent Venables, you don't want that to happen. So he wants to establish the line of scrimmage early. He wants to put pressure on Jackson Arnold. So pass pro is going to become very important. Another thing to me, Mike, is for pass pro, the O-line have to be focused and locked in. Can't have false starts on drives to put you behind the chains and get you behind schedule. Setting up second and long, third and long type of situations. So getting into those manageable downs, second and third and manageable downs, being able to pass protect and stay on schedule, keep the defense honest. To me, that's the name of the game, is keeping the defense honest. If they feel as though they can attack, pass pro becomes very difficult, and Jackson Arnold's going to have a very difficult time to operate.
Logan, what do you think here? I expect Hugh Freeze has got to know they're going to do this. They're going to blitz the crap out of his quarterback, and you got to cover him with play calling to some extent, don't you?
Yeah, look, I think that, like you said, Caesar, I think that with Auburn's offensive line right here, you don't want to see any penalties on a 2nd and 6 that could, halt the chances of being in the third and manageable. Because Oklahoma's defense is 4th in the nation in third down defense right now. So you want to stay in third and manageable situations. I think that, look, we talked about it. Oklahoma blitzes the crap out of opposing quarterbacks. And I think you can expect that to ramp up even more today, just because Brent Venables is going to have on his mind, let's go get Jackson Arnold out of this, not put him out of this game, but let's get him out of, let's not allow him to gain any confidence in the early going. So you're going to see a bunch of different looks from Brent Venables. One thing to note, though, is Oklahoma's potentially their best player on the entire squad is out for the first half.
Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Edge rusher coming off the end. Look, I think, like you said, we don't want to see any penalties from Auburn's offensive line. I'm looking for Mason Murphy, who has been pretty solid throughout the first couple of weeks, but I'm looking for him and Xavier Chaplin to kind of keep Jackson Arnold clean in those drop back passing situations. And again, I think you want to see these RPO looking clean and letting Jackson Arnold get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly.
Lawrence Robinson says 4 wide receiver sets and run out of this set. Quick passes and inside zone should work against OU. Haven't really seen a ton of 4 wide receiver sets. They've been in a lot of 11 personnel. We haven't seen much 10, but maybe they whip it out in this one. I warned people that these first 3, Baylor did not force Auburn to go very deep into their playbook to win that game. And Hugh Freeze did the smart thing and kept the ball on the ground. So, the following 2 weeks, none of those teams had the horses to force Auburn to go very deep into their playbook. You can't hold anything back if you're Hugh Freeze, unless for some reason you end up being able to run the ball on Oklahoma the way Auburn did on Baylor, which I don't see that happening either. Lutzy 43 says most experienced offensive wall in all of college football needs to step up. Could not agree with that more. Jackson Du Bois says 2 established coaches trying to find footing. Lots of talent on both sides. Feel like it's going to come down to coaching. Freeze didn't do it in his first 2 years. He's got this year, and I think he nails it today. You can prove a lot of people wrong if you go out and you get a win today. As you mentioned, not a lot of people expecting Auburn to win this game, it seems, but Auburn people. And I think like a couple weeks ago, before the start of the season, not all Auburn people expecting Auburn to win this game. Big Homie Lander says, I expect a rough day. Hopefully we win, but 28-17 Oklahoma covers. This is actually not a bad score. As a matter of fact, I had Auburn losing this one 21-17 earlier this week. So I understand this feeling. We just hope you're wrong, Big Homie Lander. Dwayne with the super chat. We appreciate that. I argue we're the most talented offense they've seen yet. Prove me right. Hopefully.
I agree.
Yeah, like as I mentioned, they're going to have to go deeper into their offensive bag of tricks today to get the job done, unless for some reason Auburn can dominate both lines of scrimmage. But if they can't, they're going to have to mix it up, and they're going to have to be a little bit more balanced than what we saw versus Baylor. Turkey B says, hopefully Hugh Freeze will not high himself. If he does, we win. Maybe hurt himself. I'm not sure what you're saying there. DJ Hyatt says, the disrespect across all of the SEC network and College Game Day. Ain't nobody giving these boys a chance. Statement win today. The hell with everything else. Bug. Look, I don't know if you guys see, Clemson is struggling with Syracuse right now. Memphis just went up on Arkansas. The pundits got a lot wrong about this season to start. We were told this would be the next coming of Nick Saban at Alabama, and Ty Simpson was it, and they got raw off the field by Florida State. I would not put too much stock into what these so-called experts are saying. Let the season play out. There's a reason the college football playoff committee doesn't start voting until week 7. Chris Pate says, we've been holding back for SEC play. Smart to not show what we have until now for conference play. Offense and defense have been very vanilla. Oklahoma will see what we have. Well, you hope so. What reason do they have to hold anything back other than one thing is working and they're just sticking with it? Last comment before we get back to the discussion here. PPAS 34-20 Auburn. This offensive line is different this year. They are pushing the line longer when initially the backs are held up. Look, man, I like this. Better offensive line play definitely leads to a better offense. Let's talk wide receiver here for a second, fellas, going into this one. They have not maybe got as many opportunities to show off this vaunted wide receiver room, but it has not stopped teams from playing terrified of Auburn's wide receiver room. Do you feel like Brett Venables is going to do the same, or does he leave his DBs on an island and trust his D-line to get after the quarterback and trust that Jackson Arnold's going to make mistakes?
Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, look, I actually do kind of think he's going to leave that those guys on an island out there, right? I think he's, like we said, he's going to bring the pressure. I think he's going to bring it from all different sides, from a 4-man rush, from 5 to 6-man rush with linebackers coming up the middle. Again, like you said, we have not seen Auburn throw the ball downfield much this throughout the first 3 weeks, but we haven't had to. Again, they've ran the ball down every team's throat simply because of the way that they played them, right? But again, I do think Brent Venables is going to play this a little bit different than Baylor and Ball State did. But that's not to say that I don't think that Auburn has the guys on the outside to win these one-on-one matchups. Look, Oklahoma's got statistically speaking, the second best pass defense in the nation. I think Auburn's going to find a way to exploit that a little bit today. I wouldn't expect Jackson Arnold to go out there and throw for 300 yards necessarily, but I do think that he and this wide receiver corps can make the plays needed when it is needed in the game.
I agree. Listen, no one has more film on Jackson Arnold than Brent Venables, right? From practice to games to he's seen this QB. He knows his tendencies. He has a game plan that other coaching staffs probably weren't able to craft because they understand Jackson Arnold. I believe Jackson Arnold is a better QB this year than he has at any point in prior years. So it's interesting to see how this will play out. The biggest thing I want to see, and we've seen glimpses of this, Mike. We've seen some of these receivers, Cam Coleman. We've seen Eric Singleton get open in zone coverage. We've seen them come back to the football. We've seen the synergy between Jackson Arnold and these receivers when plays break down. That is what I'm looking forward to seeing in this game when Oklahoma takes something away. Can Jackson Arnold and these receivers stay on the same page and make plays together? That's what I'm looking to see. Can these receivers get open, whether it's in man-to-man press coverage or in zone, and make plays? That's really what it boils down to. We're going to know a lot about Jackson Arnold and these wide receivers in this game because Brent Venables is not going to play Auburn the way Baylor did. He's going to attack. He's going to play man. He's going to play press. He's going to apply a lot of pressure and make Jackson Arnold force them back off of the line of scrimmage and play them more evenly.
Anthony Lewis says, I just saw a clip where the student section is mocking Jackson Arnold already, man. Let's whoop these boys. If you're Jackson Arnold, you have to be mentally strong headed into this one. He talked this week about not hearing the outside noise, not being on social media. Good. Right. Nothing matters. None of that is going to change what Oklahoma's going to do versus you. But if you let that talk get into your head, it can certainly change how you respond. Josh Knox says special teams and turnovers may be the difference in this game. Hopefully Alex McPherson is a go in this one. Auburn's going to need everything they can. I think this could come down to a kick, fellas, honestly. At the end, I see something wacky happening at the end of this game. Just me. Julie Ingram says, this isn't completely about Jackson Arnold. This is about culture and family. Trust me, Freeze will call his best game. Defense will make a statement to all of the SEC. I hope so. This is a statement game. If you're Oklahoma, this is a decent statement win. But unfortunately, if you're Auburn, you're in a situation where a win definitely says more for you than a loss says about them. So you need to go out and win this game, man. I think Auburn has more to prove based on recent history, and this is my opinion. Let's see, 43 says Perry as a second look has been open a lot in the first 3 games. If Jackson could just make a little faster reads, we can get some big plays out of him. Take the focus and hit Cam and Singleton. Perry as a second look. Watch the films. He's not wrong here. Perry has been open on some plays, and they definitely got to find him. Dwayne coming back with the 199 super chat. What's wrong with 10 to 15 yard passes? Do what works. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what people saying. This is in response to people saying that Auburn is not pushing the ball down the field enough. There have been a lack of big explosive plays. You're 3-0. You haven't needed it. It doesn't mean that they can't do it, but look, I don't understand. There's a reason Jackson Arnold has 0 turnovers. Those same people criticizing them for not pushing the ball down the field will be all up their butt if there were a ton of interceptions 3 games in. So I personally don't get that. That question was asked a couple times here, but I just think it's football. Chris Pate says, remember, Mateer has thrown a pick in each of his first 3 games. Arnold has not thrown a pick in any of his first 3 games. I will give Arnold Mateer this. 2 of those appear to be on the wide receiver, but look, man, a turnover is a turnover. So if their wide receivers are out there still running wrong routes and not on the same page with their QB, that has to be factored in here. Garrett Marshall says, hopefully our secondary is injecting that blitz, the league shiz into their veins right now because I worry about them. Okay. Mike Davis with the super chat. We're all ready for this program to turn the corner. This is the perfect game for that. That's where I want to come back to the conversation here about Auburn turning the corner. Logan, we've all followed and cheered for Auburn for a very, very long time. I don't think that you need style points in this game. I think a win definitively says that you have turned the corner. I don't know as to what you already have a road win versus a Power 4 team. If you add a road conference win in your first 4 games, Auburn should be bordering on, if not inside the top 10, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Caesar said it at the beginning. Nobody is picking Auburn to win this game, right? This game's in Norman. John Mateer's a Heisman favorite. Jackson Arnold can't handle the pressure. Hugh Freeze hadn't won a road game since he's a ranked road game since he's been at Auburn. All the talk is against Auburn right now. So this is a perfect opportunity for Auburn to put the country on notice. But I mean, look, you talk about turning the corner. Imagine walking out of there with a win today, heading into College Station with a win over number 11 Oklahoma, right? The momentum that you're riding into this two-game streak with Texas A&M and Georgia. Look, if you can figure out a way to get a win, look, we've all said it. Auburn needs to find a way to get a win out of these 3 games, right? If you can go ahead and get that out of the way, riding the momentum, look, dude, you're looking at 2 wins right off the bat, and you're already in prime position to get an 8-9 win season just like that if you take care of business on the back half of the schedule like you should. So look, yeah, I agree. This is a perfect opportunity for Auburn to turn the corner, and it's certainly time for Auburn to do so.
Caesar, I think everybody agrees Auburn has the talent to win this game. But it's going to come down to, do they have the coaching? Do they have the play calling? Do they have the scheme? This is one of the marquee minds on defense in college football in Brent Venables versus one of the better play callers that we've seen over the last 10 years in Hugh Freeze. You know, how does Auburn overcome the road environment, the vaunted defense, which was, remember, this was the same group of guys that held Alabama to 3 points last year. They blasted them defensively. I mean, it was ugly. It was by far Jalen Milroe's ugliest game was versus Oklahoma. I mean, how do you overcome all that and come out with a win today?
It's one of those things where you turn on a football game and a chess match breaks out, right? So you're matching wits between 2 respected minds in their respective fields. I just think one of the things that has given me hope, Mike, is in game 1, we saw Hugh Freeze stick to what worked. And I think at times last year, he did not do that. He was so determined to run his system as opposed to being locked into the game and just basically taking what's working, taking what the defense is giving him. If I'm to believe that the Baylor game is a sign of things to come, then I'm looking forward to Hugh Freeze not deviating from what's working and basically playing to win the game, right? You don't care about style points. You don't care about how many yards or how many times Jackson Arnold throws or how many yards the receivers get. You're basically moving the chains steadily. You're keeping their offense off the field. That's going to be very important. And you're dialed in as a play caller to what's working and basically what Brent Venables is showing you. And I think if you have that type of composure, I have to believe that has to be contagious and that it'll bleed into your players to where if you're locked in, they're locked in. And you're able to execute in an important game that's going to send a message to all of the college football world.
Yeah, look, I expected a lower scoring game, and that means something different in today's college football. Back in the day, a low scoring game would be something with both teams under like 15 points, and today's college football, a low scoring game is like low 20s. So I expect something in the low 20s today, if both teams take care of the football and we don't see anything anomalous out there. Let's get back to our comments here and see what you guys are saying. Mike Davis with a super chat. We're already ready for this. Oh, I'm sorry. We already got that one. Jay Crawford is a game time decision. Have you guys heard anything on Jay Crawford?
Yep. He's moved up to him and Amaris Williams will be game time decisions.
Yeah.
Questionable on most recent availability report. They say that Amaris Williams, it's kind of like the situation where Damari Alston was in. They'll be dressed out, they'll be ready to go, but probably gonna limit their snaps today.
Yeah, I know Damari Alston is definitely a go. Spoke with him this morning, and I just said, "Look, man, I need $120 and a couple TDs," and he said, "Copy that." So hopefully we see that from him today. Alan Brooks says, "Yeah, okay, is big and bad, talented everywhere, and gonna eat. But what if we hit them in the mouth first?" Mike Tyson theory, War Damn Eagle. Yeah, I think that is a key to the game for Auburn. Starting fast. Guys, Auburn has to start fast. They've got to get out. They've got to get after it early. I don't know. I don't want to put this on Hugh Freeze, but certainly over the last few years, Auburn has been a terrible team playing from behind. Just awful coming from behind. So get up big and hold on for dear life is hopefully what we see. They can get up. Jacob Goins called for Auburn to be up a couple scores headed into the late third quarter. Bold prediction there from him, but he likes the Tigers, and hopefully he's right. Neil 334 says, "I like Auburn for the win. I think Hugh sticks to his game plan. We come out physical, toss it around for about 200 to 215 and get out of there." Hopefully that's enough to get it done.
That's a good day for Jackson Arnold from a yard standpoint.
Yeah, with no interceptions, by the way.
Correct.
Yeah. Mr. Sip gifted a membership. We appreciate that, sir, helping grow our Green Name gang. Guys, we're about 4 minutes away from kickoff here. I want to give you guys the floor. Final thoughts on this one. I don't know. Logan, have you given us what was your score prediction for this one?
My score prediction ultimately came to the decision 31-24 Oklahoma. But again, look, I want to reiterate the point that I don't think that Auburn is that outmatched in this game. I think Auburn can go in there and get this one done. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be a tough matchup. Look, again, big question. Auburn's pass defense, Jackson Arnold, can they get the job done? I think they can. I'm feeling positive heading into it.
Yeah. Caesar.
I'm going to go 24-20. I'm going to go Auburn. My bug has me all over the place. My emotions have me all over the place in this game. I think this can be the same score either way for either team. Oklahoma could win 24-20. Auburn can win 24-20. I think these teams are a lot more evenly matched than people want to admit and let on. There's weaknesses, glaring concerns on both sides of the ball for these teams. And I just expect for Auburn to be – I don't expect this Auburn team to get hit in the mouth and go away. And I think that's what's happened to Auburn teams in the past. I think this team has a lot of – not only do they have a lot of talent, they have a lot of belief and fight in them. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in this game today. And I expect Auburn to actually play to the end, and I expect the good guys to prevail.
Fine line between belief and delusion, Caesar, when it comes to college fandom. We'll see which one it is here. Before we get out of here, someone let an Oklahoma fan in here. Boomer effing Sooner, 38-13. These are the scores I don't get, but Chicken 1515. Please come back to the post game. Win or lose, we are open to speak with all after this one is over. Guys, we'll be back at halftime for our patron members only, and then we'll see everybody in the post game. Of course, this has been your War Report pregame show. Enjoy the game.